What's up, everybody? Welcome into Just Talking Ball. We are live here on TikTok and on YouTube. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's me and Big Web once again. Oh, I messed up my whole stuff here, Big Web. Hold on. Me and Big Web. Hello, Big Web.
Good evening. How are you?
Doing well. It's a little sad. We only got 3 games left this season. It's kind of wild to think about. It's exciting. I think we have. Well, I don't know how exciting this AFC-NFC championship week is, but we got some money to be made, I think, which is exciting. But Big Web, season's almost over.
Yeah, and it kind of snuck up on us here a little bit. Some of the key teams, 3 weeks ago, you're sitting there going, "Oh man, we don't have the Chiefs in there, and we don't have the Ravens in there, and we don't have these other big teams that are usually there." And it's like, okay, it's going to hurt. But when you had Buffalo in there, you said, okay, it's a new year. We're still going to have exciting, different team in here, but still somebody we want to see. And now it's just gotten just a little soft right now. It's
yeah.
Like, if I'm the NFL, I'm like, okay, we got to liven this up. We got to find a way to get at least Patriots Rams, but I think it's going to be Patriots Seahawks actually. So I don't know. Every Super Bowl is fun. Every postseason is fun, but this one seems like it's a little soft for excitement.
Yeah, soft is a good word for it. I think everybody's hoping the Broncos don't make it to the Super Bowl, especially now with Jared Stidham at the helm. So, the NFL is in a spot where Josh could have been there. It would have been Pats, Bills. It would have been the perfect scenario for the AFC Championship. And now we have Jared Stidham against Drake May. And, maybe we'll talk about it more on Sunday. We don't really have to preview the games in particular as far as picks go because we'll have the Sunday show coming up on Sunday at 9:30. But we can discuss how shitty of a game it's going to be, you would expect. But maybe the Broncos shut them down at home. I don't know, Big Web. Maybe there's some Stidham magic in there. Maybe there's something there. Who knows? Probably not.
There's people talking like he's going to be just fine. And, they got a reasonable football team in front of them. But I don't know. I don't expect a lot out of them. I think the Patriots are a team that's, like we've talked the last couple of weeks, they got talent on both sides of the ball. Although I don't think May looked all that great last week. He got the win, but I don't think he looked all that great.
Could take care of the ball. I mean, that was the thing. It was he looked great besides the turnovers, but you can't have turnovers. So you got to take care of the ball better, no doubt.
Yep, absolutely. And then on the NFC side of the fence, I mean, when you look at teams and you say, do they deserve to be there? I mean, the Seahawks mollywopped Frisco, and they won the home field. So do they deserve to be there? You would say yes. The Rams 2 3-point victories to get them to where they are in the playoffs. One of those to what I call a soft Carolina team. So I don't know. It's not a whole lot of pomp circumstance on this one, but it's gonna be fun nonetheless.
Yeah, I think obviously playoff football, it's always fun usually, and hopefully we see at least one good game this weekend. But I think Patriots Rams would be ideal. That's what we discussed. Big Web, surprisingly, there's a lot of things to discuss that has to do with kind of the off-season stories, and I want to jump into that here in a second. Real quick, recap of last week. The most important thing, the Bears lose, baby. The Bears finally lose. Caleb, and that throw that he had on 4th and forever to send it to OT, I sunk in my chair because I'm like, here we go again. This guy finds a way nonstop, and it's pissing me off because I'm sick of seeing the Bears succeed. And it's so funny because I got, my brother-in-law is a Bears fan, and my sister-in-law is a Bears fan, and, my whole in-law side is rooting for the Bears for them, and I'm sitting here being an asshole rooting against them, and Laura, my wife, obviously gets it because she knows I'm a Lions fan, And I'm sitting there just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, am I really this guy? And I looked in the mirror and I go, I am this guy. I love seeing the Bears lose. And I said, I'm not going to rub it in his face, but like, yeah, I don't, as a Lions fan, if the Bears end up winning the Super Bowl, my life is hell. No matter what. I host a football show. I got people chirping me all the time. Now I'll have my brother-in-law with the opportunity to chirp me. No thanks. No thanks. I will go ahead and have the Bears lose. Thank you. They did, and Big Web, I couldn't be happier.
We should be. No, they were going to lose at some point with all the cardiac last-minute heroics. But when he turned around and started sprinting, what was he on, about the 30-yard line, sprinted backwards 12 yards like Fran Tarkington, spun around and let that son of a bitch go. And here's Kmet wide open in the corner.
Unbelievable.
Like,
and Kmet just came in for the first time because Loveland got hurt, and all of a sudden he's in the right place at the right time. I don't know what the fuck the defender was doing. I don't think it was a push-off by Kmet. They were both kind of hand-checking, doing their bullshit. But, like, it's almost like the defender got lost. He started looking around like, where's he at? It's like he's in one spot. Yeah. You just had him. I was just confused by the whole play. The throw was perfect. You can't deny it. It was just perfect.
Yeah. It was perfect.
But luckily, I mean, the Bears had a chance. They should have won in overtime. They make the stop. Their defense played great, which you haven't said much this year. They're on the 50, I believe. You need 15 yards to get in field goal range to win the game. He throws a ball to DJ Moore, and DJ just kept kind of fading on the route instead of cutting over quick on a 90-degree angle. And Caleb kind of floats it thinking he's going to be there, and the safety comes over and intercepts it, and that's basically the game as you know, the Rams come back down and win it. Harrison Mevis, Mizzou guy. I got to shout out Nick on Sunday for that.
A thicker kicker.
Yeah, he is a big boy. But yeah, I mean, it was the Bears had their chances. I thought after you get that throw from Caleb, they're destined to win everything this year when they don't deserve it in a way. I mean, they did play the best game. I think they were the better team actually in that game, but most of the time, all their surprise bullshit has been like they suck for 3 quarters and then they pull that out of their ass. This was a little different where they deserved to win. It was over. Caleb brings them back from the dead, and they still lose. So it's kind of wild.
Yeah, that pass. I mean, that is like chemistry between a wide receiver and a quarterback, and that happens in July and August when you're out there working just 2 guys in the field. How's he going to cut on the flag pattern? How's he going to cut on the out pattern? How's he going to read the D-back? Is he cutting inside or not? So, I mean, a lot of those balls are in the air before the receiver even makes a turn. In that case, like you say, he was floating, and Caleb was expecting him to cut in, you know, tighter. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But you know, and are living by the sword, die by the sword. So things went their way for a lot of weeks, buddy. A lot of weeks.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, it was bound to come and get them at some point. But I thought they were going to pull it out. I really did.
Yeah.
After that heroic thing. So.
No doubt. Rob says Bears under wins next season? ? You know, people are saying because of what the Lions kind of did, went from first to worst in the NFC North because of how competitive it is. Lions are also over 500. If that tells you anything. Yeah, I mean, I think it could happen to any team in that division. I think it's so close. You could see some of those games going the other way. It's like how it worked for Detroit this year when the injuries piled up, and they still went 9-8 and they got 4th place. I just think that's how good the NFC North is. So Ben Johnson, I mean, I'll tip my cap to Ben Johnson too. He kind of said what Campbell said whenever the Lions lost in the NFC Championship. He kind of said, we may not be here again. He didn't say that exactly, but he basically said something like, we're not using this as a stepping stone to say, oh, what a great season. We're starting from zero. We're starting from scratch. And I think that's what makes a great coach from an okay coach. I mean, I think he is a really good coach. I do.
Belichick did that every year. The Patriots won year after year, and every single time when they came out of training camp, he said, look, we're starting from scratch. We're brand new here. This is a whole new year. You don't get to use anything on last year's record. And he reminded everybody every year that, look, you guys got to start over. You cannot carry on from what you had last year. Now, you got things like going on with the Bears. They were so lucky, and they were so they performed because everything was cardiac. Everything was the last second. It's not like they blew teams out and they were consistent across the board. They pulled things out at the end. They made things happen like that. And when you go into the next year, it's kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs coming off a year like that.
Love this video, by the way. Sorry, you mentioned Belichick. This is him getting the AFC Championship trophy after they won all these Super Bowls. He's like, I don't give a shit about this. He gets handed it by Kraft, and he hands it right to the guy behind him. He goes, this ain't nothing. We're worried about the next one. I love that clip. It's just like, get this away from me. I've seen plenty of these. It's, oh, God, I love that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's for sure cool. But no, I mean, you can't count on it. And Kansas City, remember, so wasn't this past season, but the season before, they pulled out all these victories by hitting goalposts and the thing banking in instead of out, and they win the football game.
Yeah.
And blocked kicks, and this happens, and this happens, and they were destined. And what happens the next year? You don't get the ball doesn't bounce the same way sometimes. Yeah, I can see the Bears having a reasonable year, like a 500 year, or a little better than that. But they're not a shoe-in to win, 12 games.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of the Chiefs, so some off-season kind of movement. They brought back Eric Bieniemy as their OC, won 2 Super Bowls with them. They struggled this year a little bit, so Andy Reid brings them back. We'll see if that affects, their bounce back next year, if they do have a bounce back. Bills fired.
He's got to find a running game, TJ. I mean, Kansas City. That's what's missing out there in KC is a running game, and maybe Bieniemy can find a way, or they can make something happen, even get a new back in there or get a resurgence out of somebody.
Yeah, they do have a top 10, top 12 draft pick. Jeremiah Love, St. Louis kid, Notre Dame running back, has been in a lot of mock drafts I've seen. That could be an interesting kind of duo there. So I could see them drafting a running back for sure.
I like Kansas City with a more of a power back than a finesse back. I like to see them get somebody with some beef on their bones. So
a big story we haven't discussed on the program. We've discussed off air, obviously, with Tolly. Bills fire Sean McDermott. I wouldn't say I'm not really shocked. I'm more shocked that they've had so much buy-in with this GM. So not only did Brandon Beane he didn't get fired, but he got promoted to president of football operations. So they're basically saying like none of the blame is on him, or they're saying like, hey, we need to make a shakeup. Sean's the shakeup we need to make, not Brandon. But usually when you see a prominent head coach go, I feel like the GM's right behind him, and that's just not the case. So, Big Web, I have a few things on this, some notes on other people that they're interviewing, but also interesting comments from the Bills owner defending Brandon Beane against the media and some people, I guess, on social media. But before I get to that, I want to see your thoughts on the McDermott firing.
So when they said that 5 weeks ago they were in a meeting and McDermott said, I don't think we have all the pieces for a Super Bowl, or this, I don't know exactly how the conversation went, but something like, we need these extra pieces I need this or this for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the owner and the GM took it as we can't win a Super Bowl. We don't have enough. And he walked out of that office and those two guys looked at each other and said, our coach doesn't think we'd win a Super Bowl. That's the way they took it. And McDermott might've just been saying, hey guys, just being real. We got 3 guys sitting around a table. We're talking real football here. I think we're lacking in this. I want to give my opinion on this. I think we're lacking in this. And you're either listening to your coach about, buying the groceries so he can cook the meal, or you're, looking at every word that comes out of his mouth and saying, oh, this guy says we can't win a Super Bowl. I kind of think it's the first one where McDermott might have been misunderstood there a little bit. He was just throwing in, hey, it'd be nice if we had this piece.
Yeah. I get that, and I did see that report that they were not happy with him saying that. I don't think, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that had to do with the firing, at least the majority of it. I feel like once they've understood, and I've looked at their like past playoff runs, the amount of times they lost to the Chiefs is crazy. It is crazy when you actually see it on paper or on the internet. But it's, they've never been able to get to the big game. They just haven't, like I'm saying in the Josh era, they just haven't been able to make it. And I think it pisses them off so much. And I also think, no matter if he'll admit it or not, I think Sean understood, and Tolly even said, a guy fighting for his job, when they lost on that Brandon Cooks call, which, again, I've watched it a million times. It was a freaking interception. It's a great play by the defender. It just was. But he's defending his guy. He's defending the city of Buffalo, getting all riled up, because I think he knew that might have been the nail in the coffin for him. Whether he thinks it's unfair or not, whether it's not his fault that Josh had a lot of turnovers in that game, but I think he saw the writing on the wall that if they didn't at least go to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl, he was out. And sure enough, it happens. Gruden was on Barstool saying that he couldn't believe the firing. He loves McDermott, so I wonder if there's a spot for him even this year to get a head coaching job. But
I hope so.
I see him next year, if not getting a big opportunity. I just think he's a guy that's changed the culture there. People were saying there was players, I believe, saying that he was somebody who brought the Bills organization from obviously nothing in the last 10 years prior to then having a prominent team who's, competing consistently. But I understand them trying to change things up, but it's weird the way they've handled it. I want you to see this. Have you seen anything going on with this Brandon Beane stuff, Big Web, and the owner this week?
No.
So to give you some context, they had a postseason press conference. If anybody's on TikTok or on YouTube, you can see these clips. I know you're going to hear them, but you can also watch on YouTube. Basically, to give you some background, Beane was talking, and I'm not sure what the question was in particular, but the owner steps in and basically defends Beane out of nowhere about a certain receiver they have, drafting him a couple years ago. Take a listen.
Yeah, can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it, but I'm here to tell you the true story.
So he went out of his way to say that, which right away is kind of like, all right. So I guess he's seen flack for why is Beane not being fired after McDermott's being fired, and he throws in the Keon Coleman bit. Now, to follow up with that, this is a clip. It has to do with some of the combine footage that has Beane and also him being interviewed, and hear what he has to say about Keon Coleman.
Basically, when I went to bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
All things considered. All things considered. Just get the guy who's feels the best fit. Yep.
I know this might be obvious, but so tomorrow, who are we picking?
We're just going to keep trading more. We're going to get 14 fifths. Barring someone offering us something stupid, we'll take Keon.
So, again, he's kind of, it sounds like he's in. Like he's like, okay, we're taking Keon unless someone blows us away. So the fact that the owner goes out of his way to like call it out that it was the coaching staff and not him is just, it's odd. And now people are pulling up all this video of how confident he is in the Keon Coleman thing. It's just like a weird vibe going on,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got thoughts on it, but
I think, I don't know. GM, they're going to make their own decisions, really. I could see him backing up his coach if he's trying to have a good relationship there. But, it's usually in those war rooms, it's a team effort. They got an idea who they want and why they want them. And there's also some headbutting. So it's tough to see everything by that right there. I mean, it's a good clip, but it's hard to figure out exactly what's going on behind the scenes. let's put it this way. McDermott's a good coach, man. I think he did fine. He's got a top team, and he kept them on top. And he dealt with a lot of injuries. There was a lot of issues going on, and I hope the guy gets a job. I really do.
Yeah, no, 100%. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Baker kind of taking a shot at Stefanski. I don't know if you've seen any of this. So Stefanski obviously now taking the job in Atlanta, and there was somebody, I believe, a media member that basically said Falcons Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. QB Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts. So then Baker decides to chime in on Twitter himself. He quote tweets it and says, "Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text/call from him," I believe he's talking about Stefanski, "after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach," because now obviously he's in their division. So there's some spice going around this league right now, Big Web. There's some spice.
Would you want to be called a dumpster fire? I don't blame Baker for speaking up there.
I don't know if he called him a piece of garbage. I just think when he got shipped off, there must have not been any reconciliation there between the two. No, he didn't say he said it. He said I'm still waiting on a text and call after like basically he got shipped out and Stefanski never gave him like a "hey man, appreciate you" type of deal. It was just kind of like silence. I think that's what happened.
Okay. Well, it sounded to me like the article or whatever said, between him and Watson, it was a dumpster fire, which led to 11 more quarterbacks, and Baker didn't appreciate being called a dumpster fire.
No. It's just to be clear on it. This is a media member saying that Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback. It wasn't Stefanski saying that. It was a media member saying that he had a dumpster fire quarterback. And then Baker said that, it's quite the reach, pal, and he's pissed at Stefanski for not contacting him after he was shipped out. That's the point.
I got you.
So it's not, it didn't call him a piece of garbage. That'd be another level. But still, there's some animosity there. Now they're going to play each other twice a year. It's interesting. And speaking of animosity, I mean, we got animosity all over the damn NFL. We got owners taking shots at former coaches. We had the Ravens owner talking about Harbaugh saying he would have been safe for a week if they made the playoffs. That's it. Just making some interesting conversation. Same thing with this, the clip we just played of the Bills owner, backing up Brandon Beane and not the coaching staff. And also, by the way, I didn't mention calling out a current receiver that's on the team. Like, can you imagine being Keon Coleman on vacation and you hear, "Yeah, man, Keon Coleman was not our play. That was the coaching staff." Keon's sitting there fucking in Cancun going, "I'm still on the team, bitch. You hate me that much? Get rid of me." You know what I mean? It's a wild sight. And then to go on top of that, I don't know why I missed this year, but the Tennessee Titans hire Robert Saleh, former Jets head coach, current for the second stint, 49ers DC. So now he'll be playing a gentleman by the name of Liam Cohen from the Jacksonville Jaguars twice a year. And here's a clip from earlier this year. I don't know exactly what was said, but everything that I've seen from people reading lips, something in the lines of "I will fuck you up." So now Saleh and Liam Cohen have a rivalry now twice a year. So it's fun, a lot of fun, man.
Every week we're gonna find some of that magic going on back and forth, buddy.
Something going on.
There's too many crossovers, and there's a lot more moves at the end of every year, so you're gonna see more and more of that all the time.
And Masters said all the spice started with Johnson and LaFleur, LOL. There you go. Yeah, Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur. And then you got the McVay coaching tree all staying together and pissed off at him. I think he had a nice moment, McVay and Johnson, in that game with the Bears on Sunday. There was some respect there. But, the Matt LaFleur, Ben Johnson spice. There is spice all over the place. It's a spicy little league going on, Big Web.
And let me say this about a couple of these moves, these coaching moves, like Harbaugh, like Pittsburgh. Who's a coach from Pittsburgh? I'm forgetting. Tomlin.
Not anymore, but yeah.
No, I know, but when they move, sometimes a guy's a good coach, but he just, it's time for a change. You know what I mean? A guy can be an awesome coach, but if he's wearing the same colors for 20 years, it gets a little tough. So it's better. Let's move him. Get Harbaugh to the Giants. That's a fresh look over there, a fresh outlook for him, fresh outlook for the team. I like moves like that where it gives a guy a shot. Now, if he's not a good coach, that's another thing. But good coaches deserve certain chances, and even players. Sometimes a move is a breath of fresh air. So sometimes these aren't always bad situations.
No, absolutely not. And you got to make changes when you see something's wrong. You got to go for it. It's the outspoken nature that is getting to me a little bit. It's interesting. There's a lot of people that are just like, fuck it, I'm not holding back anymore. It's an interesting spot.
Well, you also have a win. You have a win now attitude. It's not like the old days where the coach could start the first 3 years with losing records and then get himself to 500 in the fourth year and start building his winning ways. But, now it's like, okay, like Aaron Glenn, how many wins you get with the Jets this first year? Are you gone? Are we going to give you a shot? Are we going to give you a second year? What's going on? They stuck with him. I guess they like what he's building or there, but it's not like Aaron Glenn's going to get 4 years this time. You better get it going.
Yeah. There's a great question in the YouTube chat from Andrew. It says, if you and Big Web were assigned to an NFL team, which one of you would be the head coach and who would be the GM? Big Web, do you have thoughts on this? I already know the answer, I think.
I think you would be more the GM.
Boom.
And I would be the field leader.
Now, what's your reasoning? Because I know exactly why we would do that.
Because I am so much better with the referees. I would scream bloody murder at the referees.
Oh, I thought you were joking, saying you'd be more like sincere, like Mr. Referee, sir, please, God bless.
I would try that. I would try a little of that.
Yeah. See if it works for you. I would say, I think I play fantasy football. Not that should be a GM because of that, but I know the players more than you do. I think it's fair. The names. I think I know I can kind of build a good roster. You could too, but I think I have a little bit of an edge there. But as far as getting in the players' faces and firing them up, I mean, that's Big Web all day. I mean, that's all it is.
Absolutely. And what's great is I got a scapegoat. Like, if we don't do well early, I'll just say, well, my son's not giving me the right player.
Oh, that's good. Just throw me onto the bus right away. It's a wonderful partnership and good father-son duo there. That's wonderful. I do think the problem is I'd have to fire you eventually. It would be tough for me, but I can't take all the fines the NFL would throw at us for all the shit that you say to referees and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I couldn't do it. I mean, if the first time and then let's say, you have a player on a team that you happen to, I'm sure you're going to get investigated for betting on your team for, playing or whatever.
No, that's not, I wouldn't do that.
You'd give up sports betting? You'd give up football betting?
Sure, I would.
Wow.
I got to get the right salary though, because I would have a lot of fines.
I think they're only going to pay you like 1.5 mil, a little bit less than you make now.
Because I am going to have like $200,000 in fines for, referee talk.
More than that. The things that you would say. But my thing is, like, the guy fumbles on the 5-yard line, you can't say firing squad. You can't do that. So
we're going to have to negotiate that one. That's one of my favorite terms.
You got to understand the rules are the rules. You don't have your own league. It's not the Big Web Football League. It's the NFL. So you'd have to.
Well, my team will. We're gonna play it like that. Nobody's kneeling down on nothing. We got it. It'll work.
It's different when you just got to win games, not cover the spread. Ramson says, who do you guys have winning the NFC Championship? We'll talk about that on Sunday. A little deep tease for you for the website. for the show. Sundays, 9:30 a.m. Central, all the way up until 11. Go to the website fromthe50.com if you want to take a look at the way the website looks. You can see the latest show on right there. You can click on the YouTube link. If you are on TikTok and you want to go over and subscribe, you can click the Watch Live every Sunday button. Leave a voicemail button. It takes you to an easy website to record and send us a voicemail that we'll play on the show at any time. The Grid, a new show that me and Zook overall do ourselves. Tally joined us the last couple episodes where we played the Immaculate Grid, where we guess past players that have played for two specific teams that are on the grid.
Watch.
Have you watched yet?
Yeah. Yes, I saw one time you guys did that. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It is.
I don't have that much recognition of teams. It's fun
right,
when I get
episode
something
9.
right, though.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
And I enjoy watching it, and you guys are pretty good at it, really.
Yeah,
like it.
Well, we throw some fun in there. We bullshit and bring up random football names you wouldn't think about in a long time. So it's a lot of fun. The Grid, we're trying to do once a week, but yeah, right around there. And then I'll obviously subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, where you can find all of our fantastic content from the50.com. All right, Big Web, a couple more things I got. Mike McDaniel to the Chargers. I don't think it's official, but all the big-time blue check marks basically said it's a done deal, just waiting for the ink to dry. Your thoughts on that? I think it's a good combo with Herbert and McDaniel in that offense. There was a couple skits today that made me laugh because I think the personality difference between McDaniel and Harbaugh will be hilarious and see how they work together. But initial thoughts, you got any? I
do. When I first heard it, I said, wow. I didn't think about it before it happened, but after it happened, I went, that could be a damn good fit right there. Mm-hmm. He's kind of a wild card, and California is a kind of a crazy place to be, and I think he's a good fit out there. I really do.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned because if he wants to be a head coach ever again, and I don't know that that's his talent. I think his talent is really more like an OC. But when a coach leaves head coaching position, if he has any opportunities to do that, I think he had one or two, and you skip a year, I think it kind of drops you a little bit as far as people thinking of you as a head coach, since he hasn't coached all that long. So I'm a little concerned if he really wants to be a head coach that might not have been the best move for him, but he's a great offensive coordinator. I think it's going to be exciting, and he's dealing with a good offense out there and a good head coach. So I think it's a good move.
I understand your reasoning for, taking a lesser job in a way, but I disagree because I think it's worse to, fizzle out with the wrong franchise. Like if he goes to Cleveland, he really thought Cleveland was not the play. I get it. You know what I mean? Like if you think you're not going to be good for 3 years, you're going to get fired again. It's worse because you have back-to-back head coaching jobs where it didn't pan out. You have an offense where all you got to do is focus on just being creative and making that offense go. Then you can pick whatever job you want later. There's a lot of coaches that are getting second opportunities coming up, or have at least been interviewed multiple times.
Like Solid did. He sat out a year. He was a defensive coordinator, and he came back. Now he's a head coach again. But some of them, I thought Detroit would have been a good fit for Daniel also.
Well, and apparently I thought it was the Lions. Either he didn't want to go, or the Lions were getting wind that he was going to take a head coaching job. And then all of a sudden, there was a report saying that Campbell loves him, but overall the organization didn't think it was a great fit, I guess, with his scheme and everything else. So that was kind of surprising, but that's what the story was.
Right.
With that being said, the Lions have hired a new offensive coordinator. Drew Petzing from the Arizona Cardinals, Big Web, has signed a deal to become the Lions offensive coordinator. I'm not going to lie. My first reaction was, what are we doing? And mainly I was just shocked because you see names all over the social media and all the reporters saying, oh, they're interviewing Arthur Smith and they're interviewing Mike Kafka. Thank God they didn't get any of those two guys. Just not a fan. But then Mike McDaniel and I think the passing game coordinator for Seattle, I believe. Anyway, there's names all over the place. Not one time did I see Drew Petzing at all. And I was a little underwhelmed, I'll be honest, but then I kind of sat back and I saw a bunch of people saying he was up for a couple head coaching jobs. He interviewed a couple years ago. I don't know if he interviewed for the Bears job or was in the running for a minute, but regardless, there's some background here. So he was apparently coaching with Ben Johnson back in Boston College when they were first starting out. He was in Ben Johnson's wedding, Big Web, which I don't love that was like the big story. Like, okay, he's Ben Johnson's buddy. That doesn't mean shit. Here's what I'll say and why I wouldn't say excited, but I'm fine. It's kind of like a wait and see. You know, the Cardinals scored points this year with a backup journeyman quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. Kyler was hurt all year. They did not have their top running back in James Conner. They went through 4 or 5 running backs, I think. Marvin Harrison Jr. was hurt and had some illness going on throughout the year. So, and they still performed like they weren't a good team, but the numbers, at least the rushing numbers, speak for themselves over the last few years. So you get him going with Gibbs and some play action. And listen, I'm still in the camp of I trust Campbell and Holmes, and I believe if they think he's the guy and they think they can turn him around and he's got the right scheme, then let's go. But it was a little shocking. But you know what? I'm more excited than I was with the John Morton play. I thought anybody that Holmes and Campbell brought in were going to turn to gold. Not the case. But I like the fact that this guy's a young guy. He's been highly touted all around the league. And now he has a shot to perform with a real offense. No offense to the Cardinals, but come on. You got a real offense now. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, and if, so same thing. When I heard his name, I really wasn't all that familiar with the guy, but I was sitting there going, not this year, not the year before, but even the year before that, we started looking at playing some overs with the Cardinals, especially at home. They would score points. And that's the only thing I can say is I kind of remember in the last 24 months, this team starting to click on offense. They got Connor, they got receivers, they got even the Pipsqueak would have certain games that he'd put something together. But they had a lot of injuries too, but they scored points. So what do you want on offense? You want to score points. You want a scheme. You want a guy that can do it. So it's interesting hire. Detroit's got all the talent in the world on offense. If the guy was coming from somebody like the Saints or something like that, or Nashville, Tennessee Titans, it'd be like, those teams don't score shit. Who is this guy?
Right.
But the Cardinals put some points on the board. So I'm willing to give this guy a shot. Let's see what he's got.
And he's got a good run game scheme. So, imagine, I don't know if they're bringing Monty back or not. There was some kind of animosity going on with him, not getting a lot of the carries. But again, when you got a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, you understand why you're not going to get the amount of carries. And maybe he didn't understand that, but I get why they would give Gibbs the ball more. He's just more explosive. But regardless, if you have 2 great backs or you just have Gibbs, if this guy's offense, the numbers speak for themselves, Gibbs has a monster year next year. And then the best part about it is what is similar to Ben Johnson's offense. If you run the way I think they can with this scheme, play action all day long with St. Brown and J-Mo. All day. That's what's going to be exciting about it. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm not one of those fans that's going crazy. And St. Brown even said on his podcast today, he goes, I don't understand all the Lions fans pissed off. Like, you haven't seen this guy do anything yet. Like, you can't be pissed off until he proves it. And he was basically saying, like, give it a chance. My God. He goes, what has Campbell and Brad not shown you that you can't trust them, basically? It's like, yeah. Like, trust what they're doing because they got them to this point. You know what I mean? And you see what Dan does. Like, not saying he was the best play caller, but if something goes south, he fucking steps in. It's what he did last year. So.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm a big fan, as you know, of the counter plays. Getting the whole flow going one way and then sending somebody back the other. Even pulling guards and tackles and sending them to the right and just flipping to a back going left. You can see the flow of the linebackers. You can see the pursuit of the defense going right, and you send somebody left with a couple blockers. It's the best play in football. And the Detroit, when Johnson was there, they did a hell of a job at that. So
yeah,
anyway,
100%.
I hope to see that back over there.
Big Web. I don't have anything else. That's what I wanted to do today. I had a lot to cover as far as offseason and coaching carousel. As far as the games go themselves this weekend, we got the show on Sunday to preview them all, so I don't really need to discuss it much. Obviously, it's underwhelming with Stidham in, but I think that game in Denver makes it a little bit more interesting. And then the Rams-Seahawks will be a fun one, too. Any initial thoughts, not going too deep for these games?
Well, I just want to dip into the last week just briefly. I mean, if Buffalo plays Denver 5 times, who wins? Who wins the majority of those games?
If they're both healthy?
They're both healthy. Just as healthy as they were last Sunday.
Is it in Denver
Saturday.
every time, you're saying? Or I know this is a hypothetical, but I'm just curious.
No, go ahead. You put them all in Denver. Put them all in Denver. Do you think Buffalo gets 3 wins?
Out of how many, I'm sorry? How many matchups?
5. They play 5 times.
I think it's I think it's right there. I mean, I think it could go either way. Like I think the Bills are the better team, but as far as the home field advantage, the defense, I think the Bills are the better team. Yes.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Do we have the best teams in the league in these Final Four? I don't think we do.
Who else do you think is missing? Do you think the NFC is the top 2?
No, I do. I like Seattle. I think Seattle is very deserving. You cannot say that Philadelphia should be there. You really can't say that. You can't say Detroit should be there.
Bears shouldn't be there. They didn't deserve it.
Bears obviously shouldn't be there. But Frisco absolutely shouldn't be there. They were they were beat flat out. Should the Rams be there? I still don't think they played up to their potential. They had 2 3-point wins to get them there in the playoffs and a really a good season. They played very consistent throughout the year. So I'd say yeah. The NFC is doing pretty good to get 2 top teams in there. AFC, I don't know. I mean, I really think I guess I'm butthurt about Buffalo not being in there because that would have been a solid representative. I don't think Pittsburgh should be there. I don't think Baltimore should be there.
Bengals didn't deserve it. Chiefs didn't deserve it. I mean, it was the Bills' year. It was
Jacksonville's the only one. And Jacksonville or Houston, but Houston didn't put it together on offense.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, I'd probably put Jacksonville right behind Buffalo as far as, unfortunately those two had to play each other. That might have been a little bit different if they didn't have to play each other. But
if Stroud in that offense could have got going, I mean, Houston's defense is incredible. I mean, Will Anderson himself, first-team All-Pro, Daniil Hunter, unbelievable. Like Shakir, all these guys they have on defense are just unbelievable. They're just so aggressive, and you should have seen how many times, again, they kept knocking the ball out of Drake May's hands because they kept beating the tackles. They were just right. They didn't even have to go through them. They just went around them. They're way faster than them. And you saw Stroud. The dude just throws it up for grabs. He'll try to make a play happen when he's on the ground, and it's like, you can't do that shit in the NFL. You're going to throw, and he did, 4 picks or whatever. One of them was deflected. I did pay attention to that, but 3 of them were very bad.
Yeah, and he's got to mature a little bit he's got to mature a lot to get them where they're going to be if he's going to be the man down there. And they got to get a consistent, healthy, non-injured receiving core down there and build that team, keep that defense, and let's add some linemen to give them some protection and secure that receiving core. That's what they got to get done down there. But Jacksonville is legit, man. I think they had a good year. It was a good growing year. I think this Liam Cohen has really got it going on down there. Just ask Nick if you want to know how he's doing.
Yeah.
They had a good year. I think Buffalo's going to improve, and they'll all go get them again next year. You look on this upcoming week now, and you say, I hear Charbonnet's out now for the Seahawks.
ACL.
He had an ACL, so he's done for the year. So they're down to 1 back, but he's talented. I think he can get that done. But what we're going to find out against the Rams is Seattle's defense that freaking good, or San Francisco didn't match up with them and it was just beating up on San Francisco, But I think it's the former because I seen them play defense 3 weeks before that too. Before they played Frisco the last game of the year, and they did absolutely very well. So I think they're a tough team. I think they're going to be in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to beat the Rams this week. But we can talk more about that. But anyway.
Yeah, no. The spread is Rams getting 2.5. Teasing them up is interesting to me. I like it. This game's interesting as far as picking a side. Like, I think it's a coin flip. I do. The one team that has performed well against Seattle has been the Rams as far as scoring, I believe. They were in the 20s both times. Let me double check.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. There was a 34-31 also between them two, I thought.
Yeah, it was high. It was high. So that tells me that they can move the ball against them, and obviously not being in the snow, you could see Stafford and them struggling for sure in that game. Seattle's going to be cold, I guess. I don't expect any snow. Does it snow up in Seattle? It might be a dumb question. I feel like it always rains, but I feel like I never hear snow.
Rains in Seattle. It rains in
But
Seattle.
it's northwest. I figured it would get. I don't know how it all works, but I figured north.
It's weird that these frigid colds seem to dip down right in the center, like right above Wisconsin and Chicago, and dip there and leave the West Coast alone. I think it's just kind of like the El Nino pattern or whatever you want.
El Nino. I have heard an El Nino. Yeah. Who would have thought you got a weather report on this program?
You do.
I'm trying to look it up here. It's very small font. Rams. Seattle.
On the AFC side.
Yeah.
On the AFC side, it's going to – what's the spread on that game, by the way, Broncos? And
5.5, according to Green Book right now.
Wow.
I'm actually shocked it's not a full 7. I don't – every time I look at something now, I'm thinking, what is Vegas – what are they thinking? What are we thinking here? I don't know why Jared Stidham's only getting 5.5. Makes me think. Why is that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Sean said, well, this guy could start on most teams. I don't know, Sean. You're just building your guy up.
Yeah. What else are you going to say?
After the other team. Yeah, what else are you going to say?
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I would say a backup quarterback starting in the AFC Championship should be a 7-pointer, I would think. Just kind of watching the body of work for those two clubs.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting there too. But we shall see, sir. We'll dig in Sunday and give you a lot more.
Yeah, 100%. Going over the Rams Seattle game, Week 11. Seattle won 21-19, so the Rams didn't get the 20 points, but it was a close game. And then the big one was Week 16, where the Rams won that one 21-19. I'm sorry. They lost to Seattle 38-37 in OT in Week 16. Stafford in the loss threw for 457 through the air, and Nakua had 225 receiving.
What week was this?
Week 16, 38-37.
Man.
Crazy. So right there, I mean, that what team are you going to get? I want to know the injury situation for Seattle. Like, I don't know who was out, if anybody was out, or if the Rams just balled out. That was in Seattle too, by the way. Yeah, crazy.
That's huge. That's because that was not all that long ago.
No. No.
And if you look at games before and after that, we can look at it. But I think Seattle was playing some pretty damn good defense at that time.
Yeah, the one I was looking at was Nakua's game log too, because he led the game in receiving for the Rams both games, which is not a shock, but I'm trying to see receptions or targets he got. So back on November 16th, he had 7 receptions, 75 yards, no touchdowns on 8 targets. And then the big game he had, Week 16, he had 12 receptions on 16 targets, 225, 2 touchdowns. Unbelievable. So, yeah, I was hoping to see if I could find any injuries in that game. It might be in the game notes. We'll have to look at that a little bit. Here you go. Oh, wait. By the way, this is the program, guys. We would just kind of go with the flow sometimes, just pop up and we find something and we go with it. So welcome to From the 50. welcome to the show. 2 hours ago, Brady Henderson, Big Web, you know him as Mr. Henderson. He tweeted out some of the injury status for the Seahawks. Says the Seahawks' first injury report of championship week lists Darnold as limited on Wednesday. That's no surprise, which is also what he said. And then he said, also the team is now dealing with injuries to its top 3 left tackles. Top 3. Charles Cross, Josh Jones, and Amari Kite all missed practice. Top 3 left tackles for Seattle. So if that bothers you at all.
First of all, I think they only carry 2.
They must have made a left guard into a left tackle, maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe. But he's marked as a tackle. They all are. So yeah, I don't know. I thought the same thing. Why would you carry 3 left tackles?
When you look at that defensive question we had, how the Rams scored 38 on Seattle in week 16. And this goes back to, did they play anybody? So 2 weeks before, they only gave up 9 to the Falcons. They gave up 16 to the Colts. After the Rams game, they gave up 10 to the Panthers and 3 to the 49ers. So you could say almost they didn't play anybody, but are the 49ers a good offense when they're healthy?
Yeah.
Are the Panthers a good offense? No.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Colts a good offense? Not at that time with Daniel Jones. That's when he screwed the pooch.
Right.
Are the Falcons a good offense? No, Cousins didn't have a game. So,
right.
You don't know. I mean, I'm saying that Seattle's a solid defense, but the body of work, who they play, there's some questions there. There's some questions.
No doubt. We'll talk about it more on Sunday during the NFL Sunday kickoff show. Make sure you check it out from the50.com. We'll be live at 9:30 a.m. Central all the way up until 11 a.m. chatting through the 2 big AFC-NFC championship games. So sad. 3 games left in the 25-26 season. But remember, we'll have off-season content all year long on Just Talking Ball on Wednesdays, and then a couple others. Obviously, the grid going on in the off-season. A couple other ideas that got thrown out there as well. So I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. If you are brand new, hit the subscribe button on TikTok and on YouTube. Again, all the links online at fromthe50.com. Big Web, any last-minute thoughts?
Enjoyed it, buddy. See you Sunday.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Sunday for AFC-NFC Championship Sunday.